Hello and welcome to Salford Now. I am Lydia Horton.
And I'm Kai Smith. Here's what's coming up on today's programme.
Supermarket shelves are empty and eggs are being rationed. But what's the real reason behind the egg shortages?
But of course there's going to be some people who are going to read this on the internet or do something or read it or in a newspaper, and they're going to take it one step too far, and hell and damnation's coming and all the rest of it. So.
Did you know that Salford has its own symphony orchestra? Then I bet you didn't know that they are celebrating their 75th anniversary this month.
A Salford-based artist is combating the cost of living crisis with a new method, painting. Chelsea Entwistle is selling one of her paintings to help raise funds for a local charity.
We come from Salford. It's no denying that we come from a city that we've always suffered with poverty, do you know what I mean? We've always suffered with crime and rates and things like that. Now we've got the cost of living crisis across the UK. Maybe we're just getting more light shone onto it. Yeah, we all are suffering, but we're in Salford, we've been suffering for years.
And so to the World Cup. A big shock today, the mighty Argentina beaten by Saudi Arabia. However, not everyone would have been cheering on the underdogs. It's another country in which homosexuality is illegal, much like fellow participants Iran and of course the host Qatar. Now one charity member says we should not stop watching it. Neve McDermott's with us. What are people saying we should do, Neve?
Thanks, Kaya. People are saying that we should be boycotting it. So should we boycott the World Cup, and is it realistic? It's been uneasy for a lot of countries since they announced the Qatar location in 2010 because of their stance on same-sex relationships. That is why the One Love Rainbow armband was announced to promote diversity and inclusion. But England, Wales and 5 other European countries backed down after FIFA threatened that their captains would be booked or forced to leave the pitch. Someone who has been following the story is Maddie Johnson, a member for the charity Salford Pride. Thank you so much for joining us, Maddie.
Thank you for having me.
Should the World Cup be boycotted, and if so, why?
Yes, it definitely should be boycotted. We're seeing the World Cup take place in Qatar, where same-sex relationships are threatened with a death penalty. Now, for England as a country to even back that, and then to still go to Qatar and take away the only sign, which was the armband, of queer visibility and representation, is a real shock to me, and it's really hard for a lot of queer people to see a country supporting that.
Yeah, so if we stop watching it and boycott it, is it going to make a difference?
I think with the way social media works today, there is a lot we can do. Just promoting it on social media, sharing your views, and working through that way is really effective. Just getting the message around, I think we still won't be able to stop everyone watching it, but we can at least show that there are better ways to get around it.
Yeah, so David Beckham has been told he's a queer icon, and he's also the co-owner for Salford City, but he's off in Qatar at the moment. What would you say to him, and should he step down?
I'm really disappointed that he's even gone. You can't really show your support for queer people and present yourself as this queer icon and then so willingly go to Qatar when we know the threat that it has for queer people there. None of his fans could ever go to that country and feel safe there. So it's just a real kick in the teeth to show that his support does seem performative.
So what response would you say to someone that's just going to say, I'm going to watch it anyways, it's my country?
Well, a lot of people obviously want to watch it, say they want to support their country, but a real way to support your country would be supporting the queer people in it, and by watching the TV and seeing it promoted everywhere I look, shows no support at all and doesn't help the community in any way.
Yeah, well, Alex Yang is a member of the LGBTQ+ community and football players in Salford who plays for the LGBT-friendly alternative teams. Here's the impact that he says it's had on them.
I think for me, the queer football is just like you get to play football, which is an interest I've always had, and never feel uncomfortable. Like everyone respects you in these teams that I play with, and everyone treats you like how you want to be treated. Everyone's queer, and you don't actually expect that when you join a football team, right? Like it's really confusing at first, but like everyone's talking about their queer relationships, everyone's talking about queer stuff, and also playing football. That's never happened in my life. Like I've never experienced that up until maybe like 6 months ago.
How does it feel watching that?
Oh, that was just like so beautiful. And I think as well, the stereotypes you have around football don't promote any queer safe spaces, and to see people still being able to love a sport, and the way he said, talking about queer relationships, you'd never get that on a football pitch usually. And it's just such a joy to see the cross section between sport and queer identities, and that's really represented, which is like so beautiful.
And just finally, on behalf of Salford Pride, what would you say to the young people in the LGBT community that also want to play football and sports?
Well, there's no limit to who should be allowed to play sport. Whoever you are, however you present yourself, you're valid and you're worthy, and we have those safe spaces there, and we'll support you in any way we can, not in Salford but in our Greater Manchester community as well.
Thank you so much for that, Maddie. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Earlier today, we posted a poll on our Twitter page asking you to share your thoughts on David Beckham's endorsement of Qatar.
There's still time to cast your vote, so head over to Salford Now's Twitter page before the end of the show, when we will share the results.
Now, we've seen lots of ways to tackle the energy crisis, but what about painting? That's what one Salford lady is doing with the help of BBC Manchester.
The painting will be auctioned in an outside broadcast held at Salford Shopping Centre. Jessica Blackburn reports.
Chelsea Entwistle has been painting by herself for her entire life, but she's never done anything quite like this. This time she has an audience, her community, which she's determined to help.
We come from Salford, it's no denying that we come from a city that we've always suffered with poverty, do you know what I mean? We've always suffered with crime and rates and things like that. Now we've got the cost of living crisis across the UK, maybe we're just getting more light shone onto it. Yeah, we all are suffering, but we're in Salford, we've been suffering for years.
We're doing funding for slow cookers and air fryers for the over 60s, basically saving their energy bills, because some people who I know, I've had emails already saying, Kerry, I've got no money, I've got no gas, I've got no electric, I can't even heat the house up, how are we supposed to eat? And it's really, it's a bad place to be if you're like that, and you're phoning the councils and they're telling you to go and see Salford Assist, but Salford Assist want bank accounts, and it doesn't just take overnight, where people need overnight help. You can't be starving and wait 2 weeks.
If raising awareness is key, who better than Mike Sweeney? The Radio Manchester presenter is Salford born and bred and wants to bring real-world issues to the radio.
You've got to identify where that's happening, and you've got to illustrate it, you know, and bring the real world onto the radio if possible.
The painting is going to be auctioned, not the one I'm doing, and the money raised donated to Salford Loaves and Fishes, a local charity who have done a lot during the cost of living crisis.
I rent from a housing association at the moment, but if I was to look to move in my local community privately, my rent is nearly double. So it's physically getting to the point where if you were born and bred in Salford, you can't always afford to live here. Which on the good side, you've got the media city, you've got everything amazing that's being done. But we do have to remember that Salford people can't be forgot about at the end of it.
Chelsea's situation is far from unique. Greater Manchester Poverty Action says nearly 1 in 10 Salfordians currently experience food poverty. The work of the charities involved today, and others like them, will not be done anytime soon. Jessica Blackburn, Salford Now.
Supermarkets are rationing eggs because of extreme shortages in the UK.
Food costs are increasing, but farmers' wages aren't, meaning supplies are thinning.
Rising energy costs and bird flu are also at the heart of the crisis. Salford Now went to find out more.
Yes, this is the biggest egg shortage the UK has seen in some time, and supermarkets have started to ration and limit the amount of eggs customers can buy. They have really cracked under pressure. The industry says that the shortages will last until after Christmas, and the shortage has led to some foul play between producers and retailers, as retailers say the shortage is due to avian flu, but farmers say it's due to the lack of pay to keep their hens. So we caught up with some Salfordians who are scrambled over why the egg shortage is happening.
Want to make money out of it, so the prices will go up.
Well, I think it's all down to Putin, and we need to sort Putin out, don't they? He's made the grain more expensive. He's blocked off the grain supply, and the grain is what feeds the chickens.
No, it doesn't worry me at all. Listen, at the end of the day, if we're all starving, we'll eat bloody worms and everything, you know what I mean? So, you know, I think it's... But of course, there's going to be some people who are going to read this on the internet or do something or read it or read a newspaper, and they're going to take it one step too far, and hell and damnation's coming and all the rest of it, so...
Right, so I am going on an egg hunt to see if I can get my hands on some free-range eggs in the middle of this shortage. Come on, let's go. Come on. Can't see any eggs so far. There's no shortage on bananas. We'll get a jog on. Look at that side. Whoa! Some empty shells. Look at this. The last one, and they're cracked as well. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, it looks like Owen managed to find some eggs.
Yeah,
Have
well
you
done.
had any problems finding some eggs, Kai?
No, not after Owen. He managed to get the last ones, which it's not been great really, because I've been
No.
searching for some eggs everywhere and
Are
it's
you-
absolutely zero.
Are you an eggs fan, Kai?
They are absolutely cracking. I mean,
Oh,
brilliant. And
my goodness, that was shocking.
I mean, how do you like your eggs?
Scrambled. But I feel like I can't say that because apparently that's the kids' idea of how
See,
to eat eggs.
I love them
Don't say
poached.
fried. Oh, poached.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a bit different, Kai.
I know, but we'll leave the egg talks for now. It's been excellent. And how often do you hear of a union striking against another union?
That's what's happening in Salford right now. Employees of Usdaw, which represents retail workers, are on strike. They're being represented by another union, the GMB.
They want more pay and flexible working options. Megan Bond has more.
I'm here at Usdaw, Salford Quays, where Usdaw workers are on strike. This is the second day of the 2-day strike this week.
Who are GMB members at the trade union Usdaw head office. The living crisis has made this winter bitter. The dispute over money has hit the very unions that support workers. Beep your support. Martin Richardson, president of the GMBX 39 branch and workplace rep for Usdaw, is amongst the strikers.
It's about workers coming together to achieve better. At the end of the day, where workers do, even though we work for a trade union, you know, this is a democratic strike action and we have that right to do so as well. But the message is clear that we want to get back round the table with senior management and draw this dispute to a positive conclusion.
The union will not be flagged and are continuing to strike until a new deal is met by senior management. The deal includes modernising practices and hybrid working, increasing minimum wage to step towards equal pay for all workers and fair treatment. But what impact will be made to the union workers during these strikes?
The members of the union will still be receiving that direct support from our area organisers. The current bargaining unit that is out on strike is the clerical and auxiliary workers, which are mainly office based. So there should be no detrimental impact for the days that have been called to our members out in the shops and on the shop floor. They'll still be able to get hold of their area organisers and receive that support that they pay for.
Megan Bond reports, Salford Now.
A church in Salford has had its electricity bills quadrupled in light of the energy crisis. St Trinity Church on Chapel Street aims to be a welcoming place for those who are struggling during the cost of living crisis.
But despite these increases, the church says they still want more people to come. Our reporter Luke Johnson spoke to the owner.
So our worst case scenario is that we were paying, so last year was something like £2,000 for heating and lighting the church, and that would be at least 8 this year. That's not a 6-fold increase, that's a 4-fold increase. That's allowing for a bit of cutting back on costs and some subsidy from the government, because we haven't had that many bills yet, we're not quite clear how the government subsidy is going to work, but we are getting a little bit of help with that. We've also got a very generous grant.
And now let's head over to our Twitter page to see the response of the poll that we mentioned earlier. Oh wow, we've had quite a lot of votes. So we've had 82% for no and 18% for yes.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that David Beckham should not endorse Qatar, and that is a lot of people's opinions. But
Clearly
we've
have
also got Evie Pugh. She said it's a lot of money for not doing much. Most people would do it.
Dan McNeese has said he shouldn't be there. Seems like he's just gone there for a payday and a bit of PR. Clearly people have very strong opinions on this. And that is all for today's programme. Thank you for tuning in.
I'm Kai Smith.
And I'm Lydia Horton. Goodbye.